सुनो मेरे बाबा की खामोश बानी, इसी में है सब आशिकों की कहानी। सुनो मेरे बाबा की खामोश बानी, इसी में है सब आशिकों की कहानी। है जीना तुम्हें गर नई जिंदगानी, करो तर्क दिल से ये दुनिया ये फानी। सुनो मेरे बाबा की खामोश बानी, इसी में है सभी आशिकों की कहानी। August, he came over and he said, I have to make a very special announcement and you're all to be prepared for the bombshell. So when I come next, I will tell you. We were all so excited. What is this bombshell Baba's going to throw at us? What is it? Couldn't imagine. All discussing among ourselves. What is it going to be? Is Baba going to do this? Baba going to do that? Anyway, the big day arrives. Baba rings the bell. The bell is rung. Baba wants everybody, so we all collect in that east room. We all sit down. Baba's sitting there. And he says, listen carefully to what I have to say today. And it is very serious, and it's no joke, so listen to what I have to say. We are all, what's Baba going to tell us? He said, I have decided to wind up everything. I have decided to go out with very few of my women disciples and the men mandali to go out in the new life, as I call it. It's a new life, and I'm going to start my new life from the 16th October. And I want you all, want you all to be free. I'm going to wind up the ashram. I'm going to sell off everything here. But and wherever, are you all prepared to do as I ask you to? Because I will send someone to Pune, somebody to Bangalore, somebody to Mysore, somebody here, and I ask somebody to get married. I'll ask somebody to do this. So are you all prepared to do that? Yes, Baba. So Baba says, but it's not going to be easy. You have to obey me 100% and believe me 100% when I tell you that you will not see me, you will not hear from me, nor from my companions. You will not correspond with me, and you will do as I tell you exactly. And if you're all willing, whoever says yes, put your hands up. But I don't want it half-hearted. I want 100% that you're all willing to do this for me. And we all look, Baba, hearts sink. Baba's going to find out. Where will we go? What will we do? Baba said, now, even if I send you all out, don't think that you're away from my protection, from under my wings. You're always under my wings. You're always under my protection. You're mine, and I will always protect you. So you're not to worry in that. So wherever I send you, go happily. Do what I ask you to do, and do that happily. And it will make me happy. Are you all ready? Put your hands up. Those all who say yes and are ready to obey me, put your hands up. All hands go up. There was no other choice where to go. Baba says, you're free to go home. I'm not stopping anyone. Go to your own homes, do what you like, get married, go there, do what you like. I have no concern. I don't bind you. And this is one choice, that's another choice. Do it. So now Baba will obey you, will go wherever you ask us to. All right. So Baba was very happy that we all agreed, and we very happily said yes to Baba. So then he said, no, it was the next day. He said, now I will decide and tell you next day whom I'm taking with me, whom from the women Mandali I will select to take with me on my new life, and I will tell you tomorrow. So next day we're all excited. Who's Baba going to take? We all knew, of course, that who Baba would take, but we're waiting to hear from Baba. We knew, of course, none of us are going to be there. Because Baba told them that in my new life, there were very strict conditions. They had to be happy, they had to be this, they had to be with Baba, there was never to be a frown, there was never to be tears, there was a lot of hardship, they would walk so much, so many miles, because it was a walking tour, and they could be without food, they had to beg for their food, and they would have to live under all conditions, rain, sun or shine, or whatever it is. They will be out in the open skies, no homes to live in or something. Yeah. Then next day he announces he's taking Mera, Mani, Dr. Gohar and Mary with him as his 4 companions in the new life. Then he looks at Ranu and Kitty, Naja and myself. He says, you 4 will go to, and Khorshid and her mother Masi. You 6 will go to Bombay. I want you to stay in Bombay. And I never liked Bombay. And I thought, oh, Bombay, oh Baba. And I said to myself, so Baba looks and says, you know, I like Bombay. I love Bombay. He said, I like Bombay very much because of its 3 things. When I was in Bombay, I would always visit the Victoria Gardens, that's the zoo there, the Chowpatty, that's the seashore, where there's a beautiful sea, and the Hanging Gardens, it's known as the Hanging Gardens up on Malabar Hill. I used to always visit these 3 places and I loved it. Bombay is good. So yes, Baba. So he said, you will go to Bombay, you and Naja, this Baba's cousin, Pendu's sister, you and Naja will stay. He didn't just throw us out like that. You see, he provided us with Baba lovers, Baba disciples who were in Bombay to stay with them under their protection, you see. So Nariman was the arrangement wala. So he assigned Naja and me to Arnavaz and Nariman and told them that they had to keep us, look after us. And to Merji, who was in Bombay, he had a big house, so, and many rooms to spare. Arnavaz only had 1 room spare in our house, so we 2 could stay there. And Merji had a large house, so Rano, Kitty, Khorshid and her mother Masi, Suna Masi, they stayed at Merji's. And then Baba said, you all just don't go and do nothing there. You all have to work and be independent. You have to earn money. And I said to myself, what am I fit for? I don't know anything. I'm thinking to myself, I don't know anything. What am I going to do? I'm not qualified for anything. The only thing I knew was cooking simple meals without meat or fish or anything, dal and rice and all. I was telling Baba that, Baba, I don't know anything, I'm not qualified for anything. What kind of a job will I do? Baba said, this is typing, that means secretarial job. And Kitty had taught Mani and me during our Blue Bus tours shorthand. So after Baba would retire and after all our work was done, we'd sit with the lantern in the evenings and Kitty would teach us shorthand. She had taught it so thoroughly, I still remember all my shorthand. It is so embedded in my brain, mind, I mean, I still know my shorthand. So Mani and I both had good speed, so Baba said this, and just before Baba had announced this, there was a typewriter at Mehrabad, and I thought, I know shorthand, but I don't know typing. So I asked Baba, can I learn typing on my own at that typewriter? That we couldn't do anything without asking Baba. That's one thing. So I asked Baba, can I learn typing? When in my spare time, can I just sit and do it myself? Baba said, yes. Okay, so the night I would sit with the lantern, and Kitty gave me her Pitman's touch type. So I would sit there and do my fingering. A, D, C, so on, so on, so on, so on. I'd feel so happy. I've got this, I've mastered all the keys. Then I would sit every night and type. There was no speed or nothing. I just got the fingering right. I could correct what I typed. And when Baba said this, I said, goodness, I don't even know typing properly. How am I going to be, who's going to keep me? So Baba looks at me and says, you will, he does this flat nose, you will work with these. And I said, Chinese, Baba? Baba, where? The only Chinese in Bombay are the Chinese restaurant, Baba. You have a good job, you learn plenty, you just do what I tell you. Yes, Baba. After many years, I realized what Baba had meant. Oh, so that's what Baba had meant. He had planned everything. I was to be in the Japanese consulate, and I was to be there. I realized it after many years. I said, that's what Baba meant, not the Chinese, Japanese. Now, after this bombshell was given out, Baba didn't give us a minute to sit and think, you see. He kept us so busy packing and removing all the things, and he would see what's there, what is in this, what's this. Yeah, remove everything. Nothing was to be kept, so there was no question of him. And then he would come and say, now it's enough packing, come on, let's play charades. So we would play dumb charades. Yeah. So I remember Mera, Baba and myself, we took book titles. We said we'll play book titles. And so we three went in the corner, and Baba said, what should Baba decide? He said, we'll do Gone with the Wind. And so Mera, Baba and myself, we acted that Gone with the Wind. Of course, they all guessed it. And then they did that, and Baba and we would guess all that. So it was so appropriate, Gone with the Wind. Everything was gone with the wind, you see. And I said, Baba took the right title. We dressed, we went, and Baba came up the hill. He says, I feel so free today. Nothing. I don't own even a matchstick. I feel so free. Watching Baba only made us feel so free also, that Baba says he's free. We are free also now. So we go down the hill with Baba. Baba said, now you all go to start for Bombay. So he had called Mayorji and Nariman with their cars. They came down the hill. We all got in our cars. And I still remember seeing Baba standing there and waving out to us, 15th October 1949. That date is very strongly embedded in our hearts. And we reach Bombay. Annavaz welcomes us. Mayorji's house, though others forego. And I must say, they kept us so beautifully because we came from Baba. They loved us so much. They did everything to make our stay happy. Now Baba, after breaking this bombshell, when he tells each one, he sends some to Pune to stay with Eric's family. He sends some to Bombay to work as nurses, to qualify as doctors, some as... everywhere he has settled everyone. And now we've been given a list of orders, very strict orders, how to live in Bombay, and yet obey all Baba's orders. Can you imagine? We'd never have been out in the city like that. We never handled money. We never knew what it was to be independent because we never thought for ourselves. Baba did all the thinking. Baba provided everything. Baba made everything easy for us. And now we are to be out in the world on our own. It was till I got to Bombay. I didn't realize, I thought it was all a dream. What is it? till I got down. And I said, is this true? We are really here? We are really in Bombay, away from Mehrabad, from Baba? Couldn't believe it. So when I went to Bombay, Baba gave me a typewriter also. He said, you take this with you and practice. So it was Nani's typewriter, Rama's mother's. So I took that with me to Bombay. And early morning I would get up and practice, typing. Kitty would come over and give me shorthand, to keep my speed steady. And she said, well, that's nice. And I used to type all day just to get my speed and a little, because I hadn't learned it, I hadn't typed it. And Baba told me that, you don't have to worry. You will get a job. They will find a job for you. He said, I'll tell Nariman Meherji to find a good job for you. I said, okay. That's Baba's, why should I worry when Baba wants to let him find it? I go to Bombay. You have heard of Jal Kherawala? Yes, he was the magistrate in the early days in our tour. 1938, we stopped at his house in Jabalpur for the first time in winter. 1938 December. And we had stayed at his house. He was a magistrate. Then later on he became, he became an important government official. And he was in Bombay at that time, appointed by the central government of India, to probe into some matters where there was a lot of corruption going on and misconstrue of all the cash and everything. So he had to find out where and who did it. And that was a very confidential job. He wanted a very confidential and a private secretary for himself. He told Nariman and Meherji, I want a secretary who can be very confidential, because nobody must come into my room, nobody must touch my papers, I want her there. I want somebody very confident. Do you know of anyone? He said, we have Katie. She's come. Baba's Katie's here. Oh, has she worked before or something like that? I don't know what he said, but I was called for the interview. So I was not interviewed by him, but by the secretary of the firm. Yeah, and I was appointed on a salary of 150 rupees per month. Yeah, per month, huh? Not per week. So, now Bombay is completely new to me. I don't know the bus routes, I don't know anything. So, Nariman takes me first day to the office. He introduces me to Mr. Kherawala. This is Katie from Baba's ashram. She will work for you. She knows shorthand, she knows typing. He was very stern, and he didn't realize that I'd come straight from the ashram. I'd never seen an office in my life. I never knew what a file was. I never knew what a carbon paper was. I never did anything. I'd never been in an office. I'd come straight to Baba. I'd never seen any of these things. So I have to sit in his room. There's nobody to teach me anything. And he gives me a file and he says, I want you to copy this whole file out for me. And files after remarks and this, and it can be so messy. I had to strain and read all that, And I would be so frustrated. And in the lunch hour, they would all go home, but I had to sit in that office and type all the time. And I would say to Baba, Baba, where have you brought me? What have you done, Baba? And now you help me, I don't know anything, I said. And I would really sit and cry. I said, Baba, what have you done? Where have you brought me? And I would struggle through. I didn't know where to go and ask any guidelines or something. He would say, bring me that file. I didn't know where the files were kept. Where is the filing cabinet? Do this, do that. How, what? So during lunchtime one day I ventured out, I saw the secretary, he was a nice man. I said, will you please help me, show me how this is to be done. I don't know how to do this. So he would say, yes, put this carbon like that, put this, make so many copies, make so many copies. I was so really so scared. And he would give me dictation. One day I got so angry, he said, better take it down in longhand. You can't do your own shorthand. I said, no, but I'm taking it down in shorthand, it's all right. And later on, I worked for him only for 3 months. No, because the first month was a little difficult. Gradually, I picked up enough courage to find out from the other girls who were sitting outside in the office how this is to be done, has to be done, what is this like that. So one day he wanted a speech typed out, and he said, oh, you will never be able to do it in time. Call one of the other typists. So I went and called someone. And she took a whole day, and till the evening that speech was not ready. He got so angry, he said, I'm sure you could have typed it faster. I said, well, good for you. I just kept quiet. I said, let him learn his lesson. He doesn't trust me. All right. But later on I had to, all these board meetings, all the ministers would come, all the agenda had to be prepared, I had to take down notes and this and that. And they were all happy with my work, you see, and they liked me. And they were transferring this office now to Nagpur, where Eraj came from, you see. And they said, Miss Irani, we would like you to come with us to Nagpur. I said, I'm sorry, but I cannot leave Bombay. So Baba's strict orders, first orders Baba's were, never to leave Bombay unless I tell you. And that he said, unless I tell you, but he had told us, you will never see me, you'll never hear from me, and don't expect to have any correspondence with me. And I say to myself, not going to hear from Baba, not going to see him. How are we going to ever leave Bombay without him? He said, unless I tell you, don't leave Bombay. And then, when he said, you're not going to see me, I had a little ray of hope. Someday, sometimes, Baba, we might see you. Baba looks at me and says, 100% I'm telling you, I'm not going to see anyone. And you have to believe it. Yes, Baba. So, okay, we won't see Baba ever again. All right, this is it. This is the last time we see Baba in Body. So, and Baba said, you have to go out happily, live there happily, work happily, and think of me. But don't ever think of coming to me again. I'm not going to keep any one of you. You're not going to be with me again. Can you imagine what it was like? Can you believe what we went through? Well, that was Baba's way. He wanted us to be strong, to face the world. And yet I had to be very cautious about Baba's orders. I had to work there, be in the world, yet be out of it, you see. Besides, Baba had strict orders. No entertainment, no movies, no theatres, no plays. Not to eat out in any restaurants. You cannot spend money for anything. No buying new clothes. Nothing. What you have, you wear. The only recreation we had after I came from office, either Rano and Kitty would walk over to my place and we'd go for a walk. We knew the whole of Malabar Hill, Kambala Hill by walking. We used to walk all the time. So we had to be out in the evenings at least. So we'd go for long walks. So either I would walk across to them and then we'd go. So that was the only recreation we had. So sometimes, Annavas Narimun, people would invite them they would all go for lunch outside at the restaurant. So Katie, we are going out today. I said, okay, I'll tie up my sandwich. I'll prepare my sandwich, pack it up, take it with me, go to the restaurant with them. They'd eat the nice Chinese food, I'd eat my sandwich. So It was like that. We could only drink liquids like tea, coffee, or soft drinks. But besides that, we could not. One day I went to my sister's house, and she had cooked a nice Persian dish. It's known as osha berenj, and contains a little rice in it. So first she said, "Katie, wouldn't you like to taste it?" I said, "No, I'm sorry, I can't eat." She said, "Can't eat?" She couldn't understand. I said, "Papa said I can't eat out. I brought my sandwich." She laughed, She said, "You brought your sandwich at my house?" I said, "Yes, you eat your food, I'll eat my sandwich." She just couldn't believe it. Then I explained to her. I said, "But Baba said do a thing, we do it. So you don't question why or what. I'm not going to eat your food. You sit down and eat, and I'll eat my sandwich." So it was that strict, and we had to follow all this. So one of the orders was not to leave Bombay. So I couldn't step out of Bombay, even if I was offered a very good job anyway. So I declined that. And it was after 3 months, they went away to Nagpur. And now I'm without a job. And Baba said, "We must work. I can't stay idle at home." So I look at the paper every morning, advertisements. I keep on applying everywhere for a job. Apply, and they say no reply. So I'm absolutely going on applying every day. Meanwhile, I'm looking around asking people, "If you find a good job for me, please let me know." I mean, even as a temporary job or a temporary typist. I said I'm a shorthand typist, though I don't like typing work. So, friends who would look around, secretary will let you know. Meanwhile, as I was free, I observed a monsieur who was massaging all these people. So I got very interested. I always liked massage work. And I used to observe, because I couldn't study. As Baba had strict orders, I couldn't touch men. So it was very difficult to learn anything or study anything without, touching the body. So I used to practice on Annavas and all these other people and say, "How do you feel?" And I got a job as a monsieur. A very fat, plump lady from Pakistan. She used to sweat me out. I worked on her for 1 hour. I earned a little from the massage work, but then I realized, and then she went to Pakistan, so again I was without a job. And I knew that Baba said, I shouldn't do all this. He said this, so I must stick to that. Again, there's no job. I'm looking for a job. I can't find anything. Meanwhile, Madame Montessori's representative comes to Bombay, Mr. Yoston, and he's giving a crash Montessori program in Bombay. And see, Annavas decided she would like to take the course. So she pays her fees, she gives her entrance, fills up the form and everything. Meanwhile, Annavas and Nariman decide to go to Europe and England on a tour. So that was 1950, I believe, yeah. So Annavas says, "Katie, I paid my fees and you still not found a job. Would you like to do the course?" I said, "But you filled the form in your name. Will that man take me?" So we went to Yoston. Mr. Yoston, could you take me? My cousin is leaving for Europe and she's already paid the fees and the form is filled. I can fill another form. He said, yes, you can come. So I took my Montessori course. I got my diploma in it. And I thought, well, if nothing, we can open the small schools for the children and give Montessori lessons. Nargish took the course, Dr. Kambata, Aluk took the course, and I did. So we three took the course together. And it was such a crash program, my dear. We studied night and day. There was no sleep, there was no rest. It was maddening, I tell you. So while I was doing the course, where we attended the college, I had a desk mate who was half Japanese and half Parsi. Her father was a Parsi married to a Japanese lady. And she looked very cute, half Japanese, half Parsi, but she spoke Gujarati, our language, and she was very sweet. So she'd see me take down my notes in shorthand, see me type out my notes, all this psychology and all these notes on different items. We had so much paperwork and so much to do, so much to study. And every day we went home, we had so much homework to do. So she'd see my files so neat, all typed out, all the notes I would take down. And she used to observe me. And so we finished our course, we all went our ways. Meanwhile, I get another job, a temporary job. Somebody rings me up. Katie, there's a nice job going at the engineering firm. It's a nice, just temporary, but anyway, you can take it up. I said, okay. Please improve. Oh, that engineering firm. Oh. You know what big terms they use? I had to write in longhand quickly. Pages and pages of one letter, 5 copies each of each letter. And I used to see all these typists spool, they all these stenotypists sitting in one line. And how fast they type. The Madrasis are the best typists, They can type at the speed of nearly, I tell you, I don't know what speed it was. You didn't see the fingers just flew on the typewriter. And there I would go tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock. and they would all look at me and they say, and they were so good, I was the only girl in that pool, the steno. So they would say, and they'd feel sorry for me. Say, Miss Irani, I think you have plenty of letters still. And there was no respite. A buzzer from this cabin, buzzer from this cabin. Finish this letter, finish that letter. Oh, and figure work, so much figure work. And the boys would say, all right, come and give it to us. They'd take it and they'd type it out for me. They were so sweet, They'd all help me. No, don't get nervous. All right, please wait. Going, the buzzer is ringing for you. So I spent a month there. And I got so fed up. I said, no, enough of this. I don't want this. Anyway, I was temporary. And somebody had gone on leave, so they just kept me there. Then they opened a new department, a publicity department, which they didn't have in their firm. And so they assigned me to this new department as a secretary to that man who was going to take charge. And I worked for him for a few days, for some days at least, a month or so I think. And we got on very nicely together, and he liked my work also. So my friend rings me up, this Japanese girl, Katie, what are you doing? I said, I'm employed temporarily in this job here. Forget about everything. I've got a wonderful job for you. Have you? Where? She said, don't ask questions now. Come to this such and such a place tomorrow. And I said, but how can I leave office? She said, take leave and just come. So I took leave. I said, I'll be late tomorrow. And I went for the appointment. She was waiting down. She took me up. I see these 2 Japanese there, And I said, my dear, Japanese? I said, Mary, who are they? She said, keep quiet, Katie, they're government officials. Just keep quiet. I'll do the talking, don't interfere in anything. She spoke fluent Japanese, And she was born in Japan, that's why. So she could speak Japanese, write Japanese, read Japanese. And actually, this job was offered to her. This man who came from Japan knew her. So he offered this job to her. He said, I would like you to work for us. She said, I'm going back to Japan to get married, but I have a friend whom I can recommend who will be just the right girl for you. So she rings me up, and I go to them. They see me, they give me a test, a big editorial from the newspaper as a shorthand, and then to type it out. So I do that. And we'll let you know, they say. I get this phone call one night. Night, 10:30, I'm sleeping, fast asleep. There's a phone and Nariman picks it up. And Miss Rani. And so Nariman said, Katie, get up quickly, there's a phone for you. And I got, I said, yes. And I couldn't hear a word what he was saying. First on the phone and Japanese English. I mean, it took me a long time to get used to their English. Do you know that? I couldn't follow at all. And yes, Mr. Kiriyama. I want you to be I want you to be. I give the phone to Nariman and I said, Nariman, I can't follow it all. Please listen what she's saying. And Nariman said, yes. So she will come. So he gave her to call me at the office. So when I go there, he said, you're appointed. So you'll start work immediately. I said, sir, but I'm already working there. Can't I give them notice at least? I said, give it some time. I must tell them I'm not working for them. So at last again, I came to join them. And he tells me, my first boss, he says, I don't know. I interviewed 27 girls before you, but I don't know why I appointed you. And I said to myself, well, Baba's planned it. So there was no go, he had to take me. I had no experience, nothing. So the only lonely certificate I took was 3 months in that stupid office. And he said, is that all? I said, yes, sir. I only worked 3 months. No more experience? No, sir, but I can always do better, So we were, myself, one Mr. Qureshi, one Mr. DeCosta, we were the first 3 appointed. We were known as the Japanese Government Overseas Trade Agency, not the consulate. After the peace treaty was signed, we became the diplomatic office, Consulate General of Japan. We threw a big party, press conference, and anyway I got into that. And now suddenly we receive that Baba is now completing the new life, entering the fiery new life, is it after that? I don't know. Or the free life, I don't know, something like that. And Baba decides to come to Bombay. But he says, Nariman can stay in the house, Katie and Annawaz must be out of the house. But before that, he had already called Naja. In 2 or 3 months' time, he called Naja in the new life to be with him, because Naja was really missing Baba so much. She had spent her whole life with him from childhood. And she would sit and cry, and she'd miss him, and she'd think where Baba must be, what are they all doing? And we both sit and talk. I said, Naja, these days will also go, Baba, it won't last long. So anyway, Baba called Naja. And I said, Baba's called Naja, I'm still here. I spent 28 years in Bombay. So I worked for the Japanese consulate 27 years. Suno mere Baba ki खामोश बानी, इसी में है सभी आशिकों की कहानी। उम्मीदों का रोना, न वादों का शिकवा, न इज्जत से मतलब, न जिल्लत की परवाह, न गीबत किसी की, न खतरा किसी का, यही रंग है अपनी अब जिंदगी का। सुनो मेरे बाबा की खामोश बानी, इसी में है सभी आशिकों की कहानी।